Good afternoon and welcome to Science Fiction Retirement Library. Something a bit different today. I was part of a Kickstarter for Ian McHugh. Now, Ian McHugh is a Scottish concept artist that I've been following, I think, on X for probably, 10, 12 years. And I've always loved his kind of rusty and rotund mechanical floating ships. And I noticed a Kickstarter a while ago where he was actually building a book with a narrative in conjunction with a writer to actually create the book you see in front of you, and it's just come in. So I'm going to show you this beautiful book and a little bit about Ian McHugh if you haven't heard of him before. He's a digital artist and his main work has been in gaming for Rockstar, Grand Theft Auto, for example, and then in films as a concept artist for Spider-Verse, Solo, Star Wars, and recently Mortal Engines. He also did the covers for the relaunch of the Mortal Engines books, which I'll show you a few pictures as well. But please check him out. I'll put some links in the bottom. He's one of my kind of modern favourites, the steampunk vibe. Also, this is just like fueling all my biases because it's kind of the sea, but it's not. It's in the air, right? So let me show you a little bit of this book. So I'll bring it into the centre. Might need me to move those things there. Let me put it right in the center. So the first thing that you notice when you open this, so the story or the world that he's building is about these floating rocks, kind of post-apocalyptic, or something's happened in these floating rocks. And within these rocks is salt that can fuel, so they can be mined and fuel these Mileships. And he's built an amazing world around this. But the thing that I noticed here, I don't know if you can see it, is made by humans. So a thing that people say about Ian McHugh is, I've seen things where they say mid-journey style, which really annoys me, because this is a guy that sketches on an iPad and then goes into Photoshop and builds these amazing images, and people are kind of linking it to AI. It's not AI, it is made by a human. So Ian McHugh, the artist, Jim Rossignol, sorry if I pronounced that badly, is the writer who's worked with him a while or known him for a while and created this narrative to basically bring these amazing pictures to life. So what we have is a split. Sometimes we have sketches, but we have a split of a Mileship or a view from this archipelago world. And then we have a narrative, which is kind of snapshots from reports or something from encyclopedias or someone's memories from this world. And it's just really interestingly done. It's obviously beautiful art. You have some of the sketches, and then you have this narrative. And it's just a really interesting world to be part of. I devoured it, obviously, in one sitting. And there's so much to look at. Everything is named. The scale of what's been created, it's like families and areas within this world and different persona that you can just get lost in. And there's kind of water hauliers, there's scavengers, so many different characters in here. And this Kickstarter got like over 2,500 followers or backers, I think. So you've got things like marsh folk, people who live in stilt houses, and then you've got like the people actually go out there to salt mine, the crew. There's people called the salvagers, the rootless, prospectors, the landlocked, hermits. It's just a completely realized detail world. So this one's from a chart compendium, and just look at these. Like, this is kind of a let's say a derelict, or what they call a ghost ship maybe, and just look how beautiful this is. And obviously there's steampunk vibes. These Mileships are created like Frankenstein's monsters from other ships and other pieces and what people have scavenged. And the rocks themselves are kind of habitated. But there's a risk that when they're mined, that the rocks fall from the sky. So just look how gorgeous this is. And you can see, if you know anything about the Mortal Engines books, there's something about the character looking at him from behind and then looking out into a kind of a wide landscape. It is really appealing. So I'm not going to go through everything. I just wanted to show you a flavour of how beautiful this book is. And just to spread the word of Ian McHugh, like, concept art is, I believe, undervalued because it's from nothing, right? And it becomes things like Star Wars. or mortal engines and things like that, that then whole worlds are created. Like, look at the detail here in terms of the equivalent of something like a buoy. But just the stories also that have been added to this by Jim Rossignol, it just brings it all to life, I think. So there's many things like there's libraries, is one of my favourite places. There's different parts of the archipelago that play different roles in terms of political government structure. There's the normal kind of echelons of if you're higher in the sky, etc., and who's got the power. There's even things called limit men that go as high as they can to mine as much salt as they can from the upper, the upper reaches, but it's obviously dangerous because it gets so cold up there. So yeah, just look at how beautiful this is. And I just recommend anyone following Ian. He was at Thought Bubble, I think, this year, which I still haven't been to Thought Bubble, but it's an amazing North of England show that celebrates illustration and comic book art and art in general. Look at these, like flotillas of like junkers and, amazingly mechanized machines. It just really kind of hit all of my buttons, to be honest. Like, look at that. It's got kind of a classic kind of character visual, but a really modern, well-structured kind of storyline and narrative through it. So look at this, like some of these characters you just want to meet. I just wanted to show you for this one. This one's quite good here. Stood here again on Hudson Dock. I know I'm going home. I think again of the journey that brought me here and the Mileships which bridged the great gaps in the sky, which kept me from my heart. It's an age-old going on a journey on a physical ship on the water, put into a modern setting with the backdrop of these flying, incredible machines. And, you've got the bags and you're on your journey. There's some kind of amazingly classic tropes in here. And then you've got all of this workings. These are, fleets and flotillas of, people's homes and people's working vessels. And I just love it. There's Phoebe too there, Northern Sky, moored up together, but moored up in the sky. It's just, beautiful stuff. One thing I wanted to show you was, did I keep the bookmark there? So lovely book. Yeah, look at this. What to do with wealth. Use it to hammer the world into a shape of choosing, as Edwin Merst and his ilk would tell us we must, or do we use it to shape minds? So this is Aldous Kemplin chooses his second of these, opening scholarships to the library. This is the library. Look at that library. So for me, who's building a retirement library, just the atmosphere on there, and then like these structures and just the imagination of the reader to step inside this. Like, hopefully kind of kids see this and get inspired, not just to read and to imaginate and ideate, but also to maybe go into art. Now, I won't show you the last page, for example, but it is also a little bit of a memoir of a captain of one of the boats called the Remora, the Mileships. And it's also his kind of personal memories and what it means to be out in the air, like being out on the sea back in the day. My father-in-law was actually Merchant Navy. His dad was a fisherman up in Scotland. So there's also a little bit of a kind of a family link or something I want to talk to my family about. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this because it's a sci-fi aesthetic. Ian has done a lot of sci-fi art, a lot of kind of mechanized robots, how they interact with humans. And this is just a really awesome, well-built world that I hope something comes of it. There's kind of rumors of, games. Is there anything else that can come of this? Is there more, graphic novels? Is there, because this world is really kind of strongly realized now. So yeah, I just wanted to spread the word of this. It came through the post as a gorgeous book. There's the back cover for you. I'm not sure where you can get it from now. I think there's a break for Christmas, but look out for it to purchase it from Ian in the future, because it really is just a gorgeous thing. And you can read the blurb there. And hopefully it's something that you'd be interested in, or at least an artist to follow, because he's one of my favourites. So, yep, back to the science fiction, vintage science fiction paperbacks soon. But I thought I'd share you this lovely surprise that came through the post a few weeks back from Kickstarter. So have a good day. Cheers.